Here we have the assembled lower leg consisting of the thigh and shank and the knee and ankle belt drives. We've already tensioned the knee and upper ankle belt drives, so as we can see there's very little slack at the knee joint if we try and wiggle it. The ankle, however, has a lot of play since we haven't tensioned that lower belt. So as we did with the knee, we'll need to loosen the eccentric idlers and rotate them by a half turn. So for the shank, we'll have 3 of those. They're located 2 at the bottom and 1 up at the top. And by loosening the bolts, we'll be able to first rotate the tensioners freely and push the idler pulley into the belt and take out the slack, and then tighten that bolt back down with the Allen key so that the idler can't move anymore. So there's a lot of slack to begin with, so we should be able to easily turn these eccentrics by hand and then tighten the bolts. A crescent wrench or a spanner is also helpful here to keep the eccentric from spinning back once we tighten the bolt. So we've done that on one side. Now on our second one, I'm going to loosen the bolt first to allow me to rotate the eccentric. And here I'm going to use the spanner since I've already taken out some of the slack on one side. It's a little bit harder to turn. This just helps me hold the idler in place while I'm tightening the bolt down. And once these bolts are tight, the idlers should not be able to move anymore, so the tension will be in place. So I'm checking. Now the bottom 2 are tight, and there's just 1 remaining idler at the top. Same process as before. After loosening the bolt, I can start rotating and optionally use the spanner to do this. And it only needs to turn a half turn. And once it's tight, we can tighten this bolt back down. And should pretty much immediately feel that tension in the belt, but we can always check by trying to wiggle the foot and see if there's play left. And now there's no longer any of that slack at the ankle. So we can check the range of motion now by manually driving the knee joint and then the ankle joint. And because of the dual belt drive, right now the ankle is coupled to the knee flexion. And this will be resolved in our lower level control by subtracting the current knee flexion angle from the desired ankle flexion, and that'll allow us to drive the 2 independently.